Hi guys, this is Pedro from ARiiP, and in this video I will show you how to manage your inputs. Inputs play a key role in ARiiP system. Inputs define where your data comes from, and this data can come from a specific file or a database that ARiiP is monitoring, or it can be received via push directly into ARiiP's platform. To create new inputs, you just press the Create Input button. The first thing you need to define is if the inputs will be cloud-based or local-based. If you choose local-based, you have to install ARiiP's framework on your computer to monitor local datasets. This can be very useful if the datasets that you are monitoring are private and need to be secured inside your company's network. In opposition, if your data are available online, you need to select a cloud-based input. In this case, the output can monitor your data and services regularly, so you can pick a scheduled input, or ARiiP can receive the data via push. And this means that ARiiP doesn't do anything until you send the data to us. Also, in this scenario, you need to configure your data sources to send a webhook event to ARiiP. Let's pick a scheduled input to start with. So I'm just going to call it test input, provide a small description for the input, and I'm going to say I want you to monitor my data every hour. Be careful with this decision because you don't want to constantly pull all the databases, all the datasets, all the services that you are using. So make it a value that's meaningful enough for the changes that happen on your dataset. Likewise, I want to monitor a CSV file. I'm just going to put in address file name. It's going to be a CSV file. It has headers. This means that we are considering the first row as an header for ARiiP. I'm just going to use the regular delimiter, so no changes here. And then I want to specify the cache. The cache element is what ARiiP uses to identify if the content is new. Think of it as a way to uniquely identify all the elements on your dataset. And on any dataset, this is usually an identifier, for instance, an ID variable, or on our specific CSV file, it's going to be the number contained on column number 0. I'm also loading data for messages, so I'm just going to say there's a name here that comes from column 1, and these are the selectors. There's an email that comes from column 2, and there's a message that comes from column number 3. As you can see, in the selectors, you specify where in your original input data the actual data we are extracting comes from, hence the column numbers 1, 2, and 3, and the name of the variables that will be provided to the output. This means that in my output configuration for an integration that I will create, I can use name, email, and message to compose how I will deliver the data. But let's change things. Let's say that we want to create a SQL output. In this case, you need to specify the server configuration. So where is the host configured? I'll just put in some random host, the port, the database name, a user and a password, and a query to extract my data. Let's say you're loading everything from an articles database. Just put in, select everything from articles. And each article has an ID. If the ID uniquely identifies each article, that's what I will use for the cache. So I want to extract the title, which comes in the column named title. I want to extract the author, which is in a column named author. And I want to extract the content, which comes in a column named body, for instance. And this is it. We're ready to create your SQL input. If you have any questions, just press the live bar. You can see a given description for each field that you might need. And everything's ready. Let's create the input. There you go. We have the input created. There are no events yet. It uses a schedule for monitor this input every hour, and it is data are published in a SQL database. You can edit or you can execute this input directly. As we do not have any integrations or outputs configured yet, running this input will provide no effect. But let's get back to the inputs workspace. As you can see, there's a new input here, the test input. You can disable it or disable any of the others and enable them as you will. If you already have some specific details about how you want to create your input or have any questions about how does the XML or the RSS input work, you can simply add a sample output. This will take you directly to the edit page where you can customize with your own settings. For instance, let's see an XML input. I'm going to add it, and here it is, an XML input. In this case, we're monitoring a blog, but you can add it as you want to fit your own specific problem. In any way, if you have any questions or comments or any feedback that you want to provide, just press the feedback button and send us your questions. Thanks!